Okay, now I think the people on YouTube can actually hear me. So I apologize. I'm going to repeat that really quick because I don't think people on YouTube could hear me. Thank you so much for joining us. Hello, Louise and Tom and Vincenzo and all the guys out on YouTube land. Thank you, everyone over in GoToWebinar. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining us. Today's presentation is by Bobby Hiller. It's on how to pinpoint accurate trades using Voracity by Vince Vora. And Bobby will tell you all about that as well as MetaStock. And Bob, you're looking really dapper today.
Hey, thanks.
You got it
Sometimes
going on
I have a
today.
suit in my closet. Might as well put it on. It's not all the way buttoned up, but it's
Oh,
okay.
Ben, I'm just wearing this nasty old Metastock T-shirt, and you're looking good. Real,
Thank you.
real quick about Bobby, he happens to sit right next to me here in the office. However, right now I'm the only one in the office because of that whole world pandemic thing. So Bobby, I'm here in the office at the crypto room. Bobby's broadcasting from his home in a nice, safe area, and like I said, looking great. Bobby's been here. Oh, what did we say, Bobby? 5 years?
Uh, Coming up on 5 years. This is my fourth.
Wow. Bobby quickly rose to stardom here at MetaStock. He's doing very well. He's one of our best sales professionals here, and I have to say we really enjoy his company as well as his professionalism and knowledge and skill on MetaStock here in the office. So without further ado, I'll let Bobby take over. Bobby, please make sure you do a disclaimer because I neglected to do it, and have the slide ready.
Yeah, great. Hey guys, like Greg said, I'm Bobby, and we're going to go ahead and just get jumped right into this, starting off with our disclaimer here. This demonstration, it is designed to instruct you on using MetaStock and accompanying software plugins, and is not a recommendation to buy or sell, but rather guidelines to interpreting and using the specific indicators and features within the software. The information, software, and techniques presented today should only be used by investors who are aware of the risk inherent in trading. MetaStock shall have no liability for any investment decisions based on the use of the software, any trading strategies, or any information provided in connection with the company. Now that we've got that kind of out of the way, and I know you guys got the overall story of what we're going to do today, I did put together a slide just to get a little more in depth of what we will actually be covering. I am going to let you guys know who Vince Vora is. Of course, he is one of my favorite partners that we have here, and we have a few different trading systems with him, and I'm going to be covering my favorite one that he has today. Also, for those of you that aren't very familiar with MetaStock, I will be covering some of the basics about MetaStock, its heritage, and what it is exactly that we do here. We're going to cover some money management rules that were actually kind of given to me by Vince Vora. He also has a couple of golden rules he thinks is really smart to follow as well. We're going to touch on those. And then, what most of you really signed up for is how to pinpoint, trades, how to find your entries and exits and potential setups, and then, how to know when exactly to take those as well. Also going to show you guys a technique using Veracity that'll allow you to kind of rank the different trades and find some of the best ones as well. So let's go ahead and jump into all that. So Vince Vora, he's a senior trader at tradingwins.com. He's been trading for many, many years now. And as I mentioned before, he actually does have several different add-ons with us. He has a very good trading style. Lately, he's really been focusing a lot more on doing coaching and things as well. But we do have him join us for presentations all the time. Also, if you guys were to check out some of his strategies with us, he provides in-depth training on our different add-ons as well that you get access to if you ever try out his systems. For those of you that aren't very familiar with MetaStock, as you can see, we've been around for a while, since the floppy disk ages. Founded in 1982, as a technical analysis software company. So we've really helped to pioneer a lot of technical analysis, I would say. And, we've gotten a lot of feedback over the years and been able to improve our platform and provide just a great analytical source for traders for many, many years. We were purchased by Reuters back in 1995, and then we released our real-time feed with them in MetaStock back in 2005, and then we now offer Zenith through them as well since 2012, which is like the main competitor to the Bloomberg terminal. Zenith is a retail version of Icon, if any of you are familiar with that, and we offer their services, and we're partnered with them to provide data through them. Back in 2013, though, we did divest from them. And so we kind of now have a better hold on ourselves, and we're able to proceed with upgrades and the software and new features and things kind of at a faster pace now that we don't have such a big company reviewing everything. So really, we have a great community here at MetaStock, and a lot of our users have been with us many years as well. To touch on that too, this slide's actually a little bit old. I need to update this. This is from closer to back when I started, a year in or so. We have actually been rated as the best analysis software for over, I think, 27 or 28 years in a row now, according to the readers and users of Stocks and Commodities magazine. So that just goes to show, we're very well established and proven here. And now that portion is kind of out of the way here, we're going to go ahead and get into some money management rules before I start showing you guys the actual MetaStock platform and how it works, and covering Vince Vora's techniques. These are some things he actually really touches on almost every time he does a presentation with us. He'll cover some of these money management rules. A story that he tells too is, really early on, decades ago, when he first started his trading, he actually ended up losing a lot of money in the markets because he thought that he knew how everything worked, but he wasn't quite up to par. He definitely wasn't at the level that he's at today, because now he's extremely successful with his trading career. And so what he did is he developed some money management rules to really help reduce the risk. In your trading, if you can reduce your risk as low as possible, but still leave an open end to your returns, it can really help to make you a lot of money. And so for those of you starting out, or those of you looking to maybe, just enhance your current trading system, you can follow these money management rules too, and it can just help protect yourself in the markets. And of course, you might have a different trading style. You might not be in this for the long term or trying to make a retirement or a living off of it. Maybe you like to trade for fun, so you're okay not following some of these rules. Of course, to each their own. But if you want to follow a proven successful trader such as Vince Vora, and try to lower your risk as much as possible, then these are the rules he recommends to follow. And the first one is to trade with a positive mindset. You never want to go into your trading day in a bad mood. Everyone knows they can make poor choices when they're, when their head isn't in the game, when they're off thinking about something else. One of the keys to trading is to make sure you're not bringing any emotion into your trades. You want to trade based off of a system, ideally a proven system that is going to work, and you don't follow your emotions, your emotional thoughts about it. You just stay with your concrete plan, and that's what our software and Vince Vora's Veracity system can help you do. But even with our platform, and if you're following our rules, if you're having a really bad day, you might go ahead and sell when it doesn't quite say to sell, or you might say, what, I think this is going to be a good trade. It doesn't follow my rules, but I'm going to get into it anyways because of some other reason. Just make sure you're always in a positive mindset and sticking to your trading plan is that first one. And then another really big thing here is to trade with an amount that feels insignificant to you. And, for some traders, if they're placing a trade for, a couple of $100, that might actually feel like a lot to them. If you're a beginner and you're really just getting started out, and a few $100, puts fear into you, then when you're trading with it, it's going to make you more emotional, and you're going to start trading with some of your emotions. So keep it smaller. But then, too, we have many users where $1,000, $10,000 even feels insignificant to you in a trade. But if you can just make sure per trade that you have an amount in there that you're not going to be worried about losing, I guess is a way to put it, then you're going to be able to keep your emotions out of that trade and follow your proven trading system. And to kind of correlate to that, to put a percentage on it, maybe for some of you, if you don't have feelings about it one way or another, is he recommends that you risk no more than 5% of your account balance in any one trade. I know sometimes you might see a setup that just looks amazing and you're like, oh, this is the one. And so you want to maybe invest even more, but keep it to 5%. You can even get into more than a trade at a time with this, but you don't want to risk too much of your account balance on any one trade, because you never know what may happen with it. And what Vince actually recommends doing once you're even more established and you have a larger account size is to actually bring that percentage point down. At first, you might need to grow a higher balance initially, or you're just saying, hey, I'm going in with $10,000 as the play money to learn type thing, which if you're still learning, he actually recommends for sure you want to paper trade, use fake money until you're comfortable with your trading strategy and ready to really get into things. But then once you are doing it, yeah. So if you can keep your trades below 5%, ideally try to, once your account gets bigger, bring that down to say 1% per trade. Then you're never going to have this stress of losing all your money or anything like that. And it's, if you're consistently trading and consistently making profits, even with the lower percentages, you're still going to be able to make a lot of money. And then the final thing here, which I think really might hit home for a lot of people now, is always keep at least 50% of, or there actually might be another after this, but always keep 50% of your account balance in reserves. You never know when something's going to hit, like say COVID, or 9/11 or something like that. There's just some things that are completely unpredictable that even technical analysis might not be able to catch when you have like a major event or news like that. So you always want to have some money in reserves. Don't always have all your money in the market at once, or like when COVID hit back in February or March and everything dropped 30-40% for a bit, that could really affect you. So keep a balance in reserves. And then for your trades, he also recommends you keep your trades to a maximum of 2 per day. And there are some people that maybe do day trading, or some people that are swing and position traders, and some that are investors. Well, a big part of this is you don't have to take every single trade that you find. This isn't necessarily a race here. So he recommends, slow it down. You can have multiple trades open at a time. Say if you're a swing or position trader, maybe you get into 2 trades today and 2 tomorrow, etc. You can of course always get out or sell your positions if in a market shift or something like that. But just to keep things simple, to keep your risk as low as possible, Vora does recommend the 2 trades max per day. And then here are some other golden rules that can really help to minimize risk for everyone. And all of this stuff pertains to whether you're using the Veracity system or MetaStock or something else too. So you can take something away from this, but you will never go broke taking profits. One of the hardest parts for people is knowing when to actually get out of a trade. There's a lot of systems that can help you find a good entry point. I know I'm guilty of this myself. I've gotten into a lot of trades where I've been in really good positions, and I didn't take profits necessarily, and then eventually I lost a lot of those profits. Even if if you have maybe a set price point, you could always sell a portion of your trade there too, and then ride it out a little bit longer. Or actually really what I would recommend, maybe even more so, is using the exit strategy that comes with Veracity, because it actually has a way of allowing you to continue to up your profit margins without getting out of the market too soon. And it's one of the reasons I really love Veracity. So we will be jumping into that a little later. And then also his golden rule, it's not whether you're right or wrong that's important, but how much money you make when you're right and how much you make when you're wrong. Even if you say lose on 7 out of 10 trades, and then you profit on 3 out of those 10, so 30% of the time, if your losers are smaller, if you have a plan in place where the max that you're going to lose is 1, 2, 3% on a trade or so, but then the winners, if those winners are able to capture a lot more, say 10, 20, 30%, if you get a couple of winners at 20, 30%, and then a dozen losses at 1%, you're still extremely profitable here. And a lot of people can get a little bit confused by that too, because they might put a lot of weight into a loser, even if that loser maybe just broke even, and so you just paid out commissions, or you only lost say $100 or $200. But really what you're looking for is those really good trades. There's just a few really good trades a year can make it for you. That's all you need are these really, those big ones where you're getting a 20, 30, 40, 50% profit, or even more. I mean, there's no ceiling on this. These are just kind of example numbers, but that's really big to understand as well. Just keep your losers small and your winners big, and this Veracity system will show you a way of doing that, and you can be extremely successful with your trading. All right, so we're definitely not going to be just going through PowerPoints all day. For most of this presentation, I do actually just want to get inside of MetaStock and show you guys how everything works. So let's go ahead and open that up here. All right, so for those of you that aren't familiar with MetaStock, here we are. This is the main panel. I'm inside of our Power Console right here, where it allows you to go into your charts here. We have a quote center where you can view like your lists and portfolios and things like that. We're going to be touching in on this Explorer tool here as well, where you can actually scan for certain criteria, either your own custom criteria, tons of different trading systems, as you can see that we have already built in to MetaStock, from the basic and simple to advanced to exact trading systems like Veracity. We'll be covering all of that, but first off, let's just go ahead and jump into a chart. The basics of technical analysis here is doing your charting, I would say. One of my favorites that I often like to look at is the .NYA, and this is the NYSE composite. So this is a composite of everything on the New York Stock Exchange. I'm actually going to put this as a clean chart, just a clean template without anything on it initially, for those new users, and just to touch on a few points here. So if I go ahead and zoom out here, this is just a chart of, since back to 2018. So we have a couple of years of data in here. I could have actually gone maybe even a little further back. Let's go ahead and do that actually. I'm going to open this as a clean chart with my maximum records. Oh, I opened the wrong one. Sorry, guys. All right, back into our chart here. There's the one that I opened up that has more historical data, just so we can get a wider view. You can see, this goes back to 1965 here. Everyone, when they get into their charts, there's all sorts of analysis you can do. People draw their different trend lines or things like that, or you'll often want to put volume onto your chart or something like that. Like, these charts are completely customizable. I guess, oops, wrong one there. They are completely customizable, which is what I'm trying to get at here initially, where you can set up your own custom charts to look at things and give you signals and things of that nature. But it can be a little bit overwhelming if you didn't know what all these different indicators are, or you don't know, what exact trading system you want and how to look at things. Some of the basic things people know is you're in an upward trend normally when you're getting higher highs and higher lows when you're moving upwards. So if you can see right here, we've been in an uptrend since like the end of March, since the end of the big COVID thing, because each time one of these goes up, you're getting a higher high here and a higher low here than in this last channel. I can actually maybe draw out these channels here, so you can see how that was happening. And sometimes people know that's like a good time to trade over things, but it's always you need more information on your charts to really know what you're looking at. And then often too, it can be so complex once you get 20, 30, 40 different indicators on your chart to cover everything that you're wanting, because you need to take volume into consideration, you need to take the trend lines into consideration, et cetera, and tons of different indicators. Well, what Vince Vora has done over his many years is he's identified some of the best indicators out there, and he's created this Veracity system that utilizes, it's like a dozen different indicators combined together, plus it looks across multiple different time frames to be able to help you much better understand your chart. And what I'm just going to do here actually is go ahead and get into his template. So I'm just going to right click here, apply template. So if you had his trading system, instead of having to go through these hundreds of different indicators and kind of look at everything your own or on your own and try to determine what you're looking at, you can apply this. So you'll notice a few things here. So he does normally have, like candlesticks as part of his template here. So you can see all the different candlesticks, but then you'll also see we have these different like diamonds on here, as well as arrows, and then little exit signs as well. And this blue line that you guys are looking at, that's the 20 period simple moving average. I think most of, if not all the add-ons we have with Vora, he actually utilizes this 20 period simple moving average just because it can really give you a good idea of the market, even just kind of following that alone. Normally, if the price is above the moving average, it's going up. And if the price is below the moving average, it's headed down. Just really easy to follow just that alone. But obviously that's not perfect. It's not that easy to have a great trading system, something like that. But utilizing that with his system, with that different set of indicators that he has that takes into consideration a trend, different time periods, different indicators, things like that. If you combine them together, you'll get this. And for some of you looking at this, I do want to point out too, just blindly following what some of you might consider these like buy and sell signals, that actually probably would make you a profit, but this add-on is put together that way to make things a lot easier to look at and follow. But there are a few other rules that you want to put into this trading system here. I also recommend maybe taking some things you've learned elsewhere or from other strategies and adding them into this too. But we do actually kind of like to joke around here. It's not even joking, I guess, but say even if you were just to blindly follow, and those are entry signals are the arrows, even if you just kind of blindly followed those, it would be hard not to make money with the Veracity system. You can see it follows the lines very well, and also just to explain what these different symbols are too. So when you have a diamond here, that's a setup signal, and it's saying some of the indicators are starting to come into alignment with this Veracity, and it's if within the next few bars, I believe it's within the next 3 bars, if you get the bar to go above the high of the setup or the previous bar, then that's going to trigger an entry signal. So I guess if we maybe just zoom in here on some of these. So see right here, we had a setup signal. This is warning like, hey, we could be coming into a potential buy area. So this is to give you a heads up so you can know the next day, this is one of the securities you might want to look at, etc. Or you could even do a stop order that's above the high of this bar, because once this signals in, then that enters the trade for you. So setup signals and then the actual entry there. And then what you have are these exit signals. Those tell you when to get out. And they're not always perfect on here too, I will say. So some of you might be looking and trying to compare things, but there are some rules to it. And one of the biggest things that Vince actually recommends too, when utilizing his trading strategy, is you do not want to take every single signal. Those are just, making sure some of the indicators line up, but it's not taking all things into consideration. We do want you to, look at the bigger picture a little bit and consider some other things. And one of the main recommendations with this strategy is you want to make sure that you do have a positive trend. And one of the best ways to do that is to look at your 20 period simple moving average here and consider the slope of it. So you can see right here, it's going really high upwards. What Vince recommends is you would want to take a trade if it's at, say, a 45-degree or higher angle, the 20 period simple moving average. So if you have a sideways market and you get a signal, let's see if I can find a good one here. And these aren't even terrible right here, but you can see the slope. It's not going straight up, it's more sideways. Maybe there's a better example, but you get an entry here. So you know what? Myself, Vince, we probably wouldn't have taken this trade because the slope isn't slanted high enough upward when you get your actual entry signal. And it did still go up after you had entered in. But you can see not too far because it didn't have a lot of momentum behind it. It didn't have enough momentum or volume, I would say, because otherwise your moving average would have been giving you a stronger indication. But if you do wait to actually see the slope on there and then take those signals, then they're going to be much stronger. So that's a big thing to take into consideration with there too. And then another part of this too is these exit signals, the way that they work are actually pretty unique there. So it works as a trailing stop that gets raised each day depending on how the strategy is going. So when you do actually say get into a trade, and you know, just to point on my point earlier, so this you have a setup signal and then a buy here, but you see the slope of the 20-period moving average is going downward. So we would have known not to take this trade right here. And also to say that doesn't necessarily mean you can't get into this trade later on, but you would want to wait until you have a positive slope to get into it. And so one other thing you can do with these green and like red colored candles, which green just means that this is showing an entry signal. So it is showing a bullish zone or period right here. So same with this one, because this is green, it's saying, hey, we're in a bullish situation here. And even if you took this trade, you know, you still would have ended up making some money because it did turn around right here and the slope started going up, and you can see you got out here. So that's still a good system. But really, you know, ideally to be more safe, you would have wanted to wait for something like this right here, where you got this new setup and you actually have strong momentum behind it, and then get into a trade here and then out. It's still maybe not perfect, but with everything you know, it's a much stronger trade knowing that you have that positive direction. And also too, I'll say I actually just opened up the NYSE composite. I didn't pre-pick a chart that looked great because I could have gone in and looked at these beforehand, you know, and try to find one. But no, if any of you actually want me to open up a specific chart or symbol, I'm happy to do that. If you just let me know which ones to show you. This is just one I'm often finding myself looking at, so I wanted to kind of explain it to you guys here. So that's how this works though. And then, so when you do have that positive slope and your entry signals, then you'll take those, and you can see almost all the time, you know, when you're getting in with a signal that the price does go up. And then the same happens with the sells. So you get a sell setup here, and then this next day it did end up breaching below this, so it did trigger a signal. However, this slope is not at a 45. We would have wanted it going, you know, more down like this to actually take that trade. So you would not have gotten into this. It's just still a little bit too choppy for this. So just something to keep into consideration there, you guys. One other thing I really like about Veracity though is it works across any time frame. So I've changed this into like a weekly chart, or let's even go higher. Let's go into like a monthly, because I did open up this full thing of data here. It'll work on across almost any time frame as well. And you can see, you know, the price point was so different back there, but it's always trending you upward. And then one thing that applies with these exit signals where you got out too, I was going to get into this, is these exits are based on a trailing stop. And so they're constantly being moved up, and if it triggers down, you can get out. But you can even play with these trailing stops too, depending on your level of risk. So this one, you know, you started to have a shift, but you could see that you still have a really strong upward trend here. So maybe you didn't get out here, depending, but you still made really big profits, and then you did it again here with a signal like this. And you can also take Veracity across multiple time frames too. So say, you know, you're looking at a monthly chart, and it'll tell you, you know, if it's green, you know, like I said before, you're in a bullish situation, and then you could drop it down and say, is that same time period showing bullish on a weekly? And then drop it down into a daily and say, is it still showing that on like a daily chart? And then that will allow you to get confirmation through even more time frames with it too, before getting into these trades. But Veracity does make it easier than almost any other trading system to just be able to go in and follow these signals and make a profit. And then if you also combine it with other things that you may know, such as paying attention to the slope and trend direction, then it can help you to make a lot of money. And also something I had mentioned with this before too, or I guess earlier on, one of the golden rules here is to make sure you have, you know, the smaller losers and the bigger winners. It's hard to catch this when is incorrect or in a bad trade, but whenever it does happen, like here, so you get a signal and it enters in, and then you see, but you would have exited out the next day before this drop here. So the losers are small. Whenever you do get in and something reverses, the losers are always very small. It takes away that risk by giving you this trailing stop. But when you do hit a good winner, it lets you ride it out, and you keep raising your trailing stop with it, so that you're locking in profits every time you move up so far. And you don't have to just know these by heart either. Let me actually do another thing, is turn on the commentary. So Veracity, it does come with a commentary window here. Oh, I think I might have a bad symbol open. Let's go ahead and jump into just another one. Let's go ahead and open up Apple, just because that's another popular one. I haven't gone in and looked at this earlier. Oh, let me turn this off. So I just opened up another chart because I think I didn't load in volume properly on that last one. I was noticing that when we first opened it up, so it wasn't giving me the proper signals. So here's just another one I've opened up, Apple, same thing here. This has that Veracity template applied to it, but what I was wanting to do is turn on commentary for this. So not only do you get the setup signals and the entry and exit arrows, but you can turn on expert commentary that comes from Vince, and it tells you, what it is exactly that you're looking at. And if you see here, so there's this black arrow right here that tells you the bar that you're on. I was clicked in earlier on a bar, and so it's going to give you commentary for that bar. As you can see on this portion of the chart, it doesn't have, there's not all the indicators lining up. Obviously, it's a positive trend. You can see that from the moving average, but there was a bit of fluctuation here, and you can see how small all these bars are. The market hadn't really made a decision on what to do. So there's no commentary on those because we're not actually in a setup or a trade. But then right here, you can see we do have that expert symbol for the long setup had taken place. And so now in our commentary window, if we were looking at this on that day, it would tell you the Veracity indicator is currently signaling a long trade setup. To confirm this is a valid buying opportunity, you must wait for a trade above the setup bar's high to confirm a buy signal. And so that didn't come in on that did come in on the next day. On this one here is what we're looking at. So then when that does actually trigger, it says here, it'll tell you, and it tells you a bit about Vince Vora and his indicator and things in this commentary too. But the part I like to look at is what's in green here, or if we were on a short signal, it would be in red. But it says, hey, this is currently signaling a long opportunity. Traders interested in taking advantage of this opportunity should look at buying the stock. Or if you're an options trader, it gives you information on options trading too. It says you should consider intermediate term call options out 2 to 3 months before expirations, as these signals can last anywhere from a few days to 4 to 6 weeks for this. So you get the commentary there, and then when you're going through it too, you can follow along, and it has a built-in trailing stop to always kind of prepare you each time, or when the price is going up, then it's raising the signal. So all you really have to do is get in and say you have a saved list of the charts of the trades that you are in. You can open it up and you can immediately just look at the color code here. If it's still green when you open up your chart, you know that you're still in the trade, and you can come through it, and he explains some things about the trailing stop and everything with this too in the training that he provides. But then you get up, and then on the day where it actually does signal an exit, it tells you the Veracity indicator is currently indicating the end of a long opportunity, and all long should be exited. So then you can get out of it there. I know there's some more information on these too. So, but that's one of the key things with it. And I'll just go in every few days and update those stops, or just come in and look at these to see where they're at. And you see, I think this is the one we were looking at, maybe it was that one, but when it did end, it's because the market's chopped down and it's protecting you. It doesn't want you to get any major losses. But then just a few days later, this one, gets you back in so that you can ride the wave again. But then, of course, whenever a big loss comes, it minimizes those losses, but it allows you to get, big winners every now and then, you know, that are going to make the trading for you. And also, if you go through all of the material that he provides when you do sign up, all of his training, I mean, he obviously is the expert on this, even more so than me. This is a favorite strategy that I use along with a couple of our other systems for my own trading, and I've had really good success with it. But he's, you know, does it for a living. He's definitely the expert, and he provides more in-depth training on it too, and covers these things. But Veracity is just so simple. That's one of the reasons I love it. It'll give you your setups so that you're prepared. You can create very easily in MetaStock. You can like save a list of potential setups so that you can review them over the coming days and wait for an actual signal. And then he teaches you how to take the best trades. Not only do you want to take slope into consideration, but Veracity also works very well as a breakout system. So whenever you're into some sort of consolidation, like right here, you can see the market is pretty sideways. We don't have a lot of direction on the 20 period simple moving average there. So some of these trades are iffy, but what he says is if you can go in and draw like a line of like major resistance. So I'm going to put one in like right here. I'm looking at these highs. This probably goes back even a little bit further, actually. So yeah, there's just a lot of high points there. We could even maybe bring this down to like, say right here. It keeps getting stopped off there. So if you use it as a breakout system and you wait for a signal that is going to take you above that. So once we come in over here, it's been back and forth, but you're always looking at these when you have your setup and waiting for slope. But then you see here, you get this setup signal and it does trigger an entry, but we still are not past this big breakout, which is this line that I drew. Maybe I actually could have even brought it down a little bit now that I'm looking here, maybe closer, yeah, to here. Anyways, when this signals, I probably wouldn't have got into this trade right here, but then it comes up and my slope starts moving up, more upwards, and it finally breaks past that point of resistance that we drew from back farther. And once you have a breakout that goes above the high of those resistance levels, then that normally signals you could be having a much bigger run coming. So it kept, can I go any farther out? No. So it kept getting stopped off at this high point here. But if you find a signal and you confirm your slope is still positive, and you break out of a level of resistance, then those are really good trades to take too. So you would maybe get into this one around here and then follow it up. As long as you're still having, you know, positive direction, keep raising your stop loss. Depending on your level of risk, you know, you're going to take these exits and then get back in, or also, you know, I'll sometimes just adjust my trailing stop with a little more leniency because I normally will trade on a longer term. And so I can sometimes catch these even longer rides. It all depends on how much you want to be involved and your level of risk, but it is very important to have an exact plan before going into it, an exact level of risk and what you're going to do, or if you're going to follow it, you know, to the T, or mix in some of your other things, just because you don't want to bring emotion into it. If you have a lot of different options of things that you might do, then you're going to let your emotions take over, I guess. And you might not choose the most solid one. So always have a plan going into it. I'm just sharing some of the tips and tricks that Vince has taught me and that I utilize for myself. But as I've even said before, even if you were to get in and just kind of blindly follow these entries and exits, you can still make profit with this strategy. And there are a couple of things that will make this even easier on you guys too that I've kind of mentioned or touched in on earlier. Not only do you get the template that you can immediately apply to your chart that makes it super easy, but you know, you can also actually search or run a scan. If you go into our Explorer tool here, I have played with these earlier. So if we have one here that's for setups, so if you hover over it, it'll tell you what it's going to do. So this is going to scan for things that have the actual diamond that gives you the setup signal, meaning that in the near future, you might get an actual entry signal. And then it also has a scan if you're just looking for the ones that do have an entry right away. Maybe you run this setup scan to get a list of results, and then you know, go through your charting on it, and then save the ones that you like, and then you can run the signal scan across that list over the next coming days to see if any of those actually signal. That could be a really good way to do it. But what I am going to do is just go ahead and run both of these and just kind of individually to show you guys the it actually goes through these really fast, but I normally for presentations, I'll just go in to the S&P 500, which I already have selected here, and I'll start my exploration, and I have this set up so they're both going to just run independently. I think that popped up on a different window, so I'm going to pull it over here. So what's happening is this is running that exploration, searching for everything with a signal. You can see the instruments here. It's searching through, basically 500 charts and finding the ones that have those setup signals right now for you so that you don't have to yourself go through the 500 charts in the S&P 500. And as soon as it's done loading here, then it gives me the results for that. So you can see right here, there were 7 securities out of the 7 securities out of the S&P 500, which is really 505, that actually have a setup right now. Is this a setup or a signal? That actually have a signal. Sorry, guys, that one was the signal scan. And then 498 were rejected. So now, that just saved me hours. I didn't have to go scanning through these 498 stocks. And now what I could do is save these to a list over here, or I could open them up into a quote center if I wanted to, get a little bit more details on them. Let's even just do that here. So I know all these securities here have a signal right now for Veracity. And when I'm looking in here, I can see the open, high, low, close, last, bid, ask, etc. All of that. Even just from your scan, you can see the current close price. So if you wanted to sort by that, excuse me, get a quick sip of water here. If you sort by long buy, if there's a 1 arrow here, that means this is signaling a buy signal. And then for the shorts, those are signaling a short signal. So that's how that works. Or you can do it by close. You could even go in and say you only want to look at the buys. So you just go select these and could delete them out of there, however you want to do it. You can also simply double click one from here to open it up. So I just opened up. Let's minimize this. Let's close this. Oh, did I just close MetaStock? Oh, nope, just different window. Let's get it back open. Sorry about that, guys. I do have the Veracity template kind of saved as one of my hotkeys down here. So I've gone ahead and applied that. You can set it so that it just defaults open up to Veracity. So now if we look at this one, I just opened up one of those ones that was giving me a signal today. You can see I have that buy signal today. A lot of the markets have been kind of wild the last few days. So that's affected a few things like the moving average, because there's been some really big ups and downs lately. Because we were going positive for a while here on this one, and then there was that big drop that we had a few days ago. That has started to affect the moving average. So we can see this is getting a good signal, but my slope here, it's not necessarily amazing yet. I want it to still be a little bit higher, ideally a 45-degree angle. And maybe with this too, considering it's been positive for a while, that actually could be still a good signal. You might want to wait until the next day to really get your confirmation on it. Or for some people, depending on how you want to trade, you might want to wait to see what the markets are doing overall and maybe wait to break past this point. But that could still even be a promising trade there. So let's open up just another one here and take a quick look at it. Again, I don't have Veracity defaulted onto these, so I'm going to turn Veracity onto it. You can see another signal here. This one's been sideways for a while, and the slope is going downward. So that's going to tell me, probably not a trade I would make. You can see it's been really back and forth. But what you could do is utilize the breakout for this. This might be one that you want to keep on your list and just look, because it's been in this channel here for a while. And so if you could keep this and keep an eye on it with Veracity, and then eventually when you end up getting a signal, and whether it's upwards or downwards, once it breaks through this point, utilizing Veracity as a breakout strategy, when you get an entry or an exit that matches up and then goes through one of those levels, that could be a very solid trade, especially if it's lining up with your slope too. So just something to consider. If we look at this one over time, it looks like, you know, Veracity has done pretty well on it. You know, sometimes you do miss things like this because the market doesn't know exactly what it wants to do, and Veracity, just to be safe, you know, has gotten you out of this trade here. But depending on how you're doing everything too, maybe you wait until, I know some users, they'll wait until it goes below the 20 period moving average before they'll actually exit. They'll use that as their trailing stop, which has been effective for me in the past. And you could see, if with a lot of these, if you did that, your exits are there, you still end up taking profits. With this one, if you would have bought in, and then I don't know if it actually did end up touching there, that might be why, you know, you can't see it was going down, but up here, so we either would have been out there or there. So just some other ways of looking at that, but I wanted you guys to know that it is very easy to go in, and I just did the S&P 500 for demonstration purposes. I mean, if you guys wanted to go look at, you know, a full list of whatever it may be, the whole New York Stock Exchange, the 4,745 stocks in there, you could run a scan on there, and, you know, that would take you hours or days yourself to go through each of those charts individually on your own, but you can use the Explorer tool here to find those for you. And then if you utilize the training that you would receive, you get like 2, I believe it's hour-long training sessions from Vince Vora, where he teaches you how to use his system even on a much higher level than I'm showing you guys right now for these demonstration purposes. Then this can be a very easy system to use. We do have a lot of other strategies that, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on your charts. There's a lot of things to look at. They're hard to follow. This one is simple. Any trader, whether it's a brand new person, you know, can easily understand within a couple of minutes what the signals on your chart mean, and how to follow them and how to make profits with a system like this. Plus, if you already have a strategy you're utilizing now, just let's give an example. I'm going to open up a different template here. Let's do just directional movement template. All right, so here's another template. Say this is your current trading strategy that you have, and then you know, you wanted to start utilizing Veracity with it as well. So there is the Veracity template, but you can, of course, create your own custom templates, or if you don't want the whole template, you could simply attach the expert advisor to your chart, which will attach those buy and sell signals and the different color codings. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, the expert, so not the template, but just the expert. So now this doesn't reset my whole chart and open up a brand new template. This is using my previous template that I already had that has my other strategies on it with directional movement, or you know, then volume at the bottom, whatever other indicators you might want to have too. I'm just going to randomly click some on here. Hope I don't mess anything up by not reading them. But so attach your other ones on there, and now you can use Veracity as part of your own trading strategy too, by simply having its signals on there to give you confirmations on your own trades as well. And then when you do have that expert attached, you can also get the commentary for Veracity in here as well. And so by utilizing his signals and some of his, you know, easy to follow techniques, it can really help you guys to increase your profits in the markets. It's one of the easiest to follow systems that we offer. It works literally on any time frame. If you look at here, let's just open up a random one here. This is one of the ones from our exploration earlier. I am going to attach, let's just do the expert advisor again this time, and go through the different time frames as well. And it helps call the markets. Even if you're just wanting a system to help you do investing, so more long-term investing or something of that nature, I mean, it would work on a monthly too. I don't know what exactly we're looking at here, IDEX Labs. So you can follow it on the monthly, but you can also do intraday timeframes too. So if you wanted to apply this to your hourly chart to do day trading, I mean, there's a lot more going on. This has you a lot more involved, but it also will work on, say, like an hourly chart, and you can see it still performs really well. You do want to make sure you're following your other rules and things too when it comes down to this. This is just the expert too, so it doesn't have the volume or the moving average attached to it. But this does just go to show it will work with any time frame. We can even put it on a 5-minute chart if we wanted to do that as well. If you do go down to the really small time frames, like a 1-minute or 5-minute chart, etc., then there might be some other settings you want to mess around with, and like my support team could help you guys with that too. But you can see, even if you're day trading this and you wait for your lineup, make sure you have the proper direction. Let's actually get the template on here so we can look at everything. Oops, I hit cancel. I need to slow down. This mouse moves really fast. All right. Which one did we do? This one. So yeah, just wait. Like here you have the signal and the entry, but you wouldn't have wanted that trade because your slope's wrong. You still want to wait for your positive slope with this. It's the entry I would have waited to break above consolidation points too. But just if you take all those things into consideration, you can have some good trades. Use it on any time frame, either for day trading, long-term investing, whatever it may be. So definitely a favorite strategy of mine. If you combine it with the risk management techniques that Vince Vora can teach to you, and the ones that I've kind of touched in on today, and you combine it with your other systems, I mean, it can really help you to take advantage of the markets. There's over 30 years worth of a professional's experience built into this. All the tons of different indicators that all combine together to give a very solid trading strategy that can give this to you. So it's definitely one of my favorite systems, and it's why I wanted to do my presentation on it today. Let's jump maybe back into our PowerPoints here now that we've gone through some of these charts. So just to kind of cover, in case I didn't mention all of it. So when you get the Veracity system, you do get that full template. You do get the setup exploration, the trigger, and the signals, so you can always find these trades. You can easily have your charts just ready to go. You could, within 5 minutes of installing, you could be pretty much done with your analysis and getting into a winning trade. So that's why this is just one of my favorites here. It also has the expert advisor that gives you those actual signals on your chart and the expert commentary in there. And then, so yeah, it is 2 pro training sessions that you get from Trading Wins. That's Vince Vora's company, thetradingwins.com. And you get a 30-day membership to his pro video service when you sign up too, which has far more training and information on all the other things that he does. He also, outside of kind of us, he does coaching and things like that. And sometimes, we can maybe help arrange something like that with him too, if you wanted MetaStock, Veracity, and some really serious coaching from the professional. See what else I have here. So yeah, pricing wise, I'm sure everyone is probably curious about that. So for Veracity, it is definitely one of our most popular and used systems. Initially, when we came out with this, it was $199 a month for the subscription. Well, initially, it is still $199 a month if you wanted to just have it month to month. And really, I mean, if it helps you even in just a couple of trades, it's easily going to pay for itself. But there were a lot of people that, don't really like the subscription-based things, and they wanted to be able to do a lifetime purchase. So a year or two ago, they did start offering a lifetime purchase where you can just buy it once outright for $19.97, and then you own it. You don't have to pay for it again. Easily could get a great return on your investment at that price with just a handful of those winning trades. And again, this will help you to have much smaller losing trades, so that return on investment can come pretty quick. But luckily, because this is my favorite strategy, and I have a great boss, Jeff Gibby, I talked to him to see, hey, if I'm going to do this presentation, can I maybe help give the people involved a discount? Because I know they've done things like that in the past, and they did approve that. So if you mention this webinar, they are doing 50% off the lifetime purchase. So just $9.95, and you can buy Veracity outright. By far, like I've mentioned, one of my favorite strategies. So with that offer, you get a really good deal. And the reason too, I should say that this has kind of become my favorite system is even before it was really on my radar, before I had used it a lot myself. Just some of my own clients were coming to me and telling me how profitable they were with Veracity. And because of that, I started using it myself in my own trading. And then that's when I really got into it. I went through Vince's training that he offers and things like that. And I've had a lot of success with it. So definitely a really great offer you guys could take advantage of. If that is something you wanted. Just $9.95, you would be able to get his system outright, get his training, get the scans, the templates, all of that. For those of you that don't have MetaStock, if you're wondering, well, how much does that cost? What is that going to run me? If you just wanted our daily chart software, so if you're doing more like swing and position trading, or you wanted access to just MetaStock itself, and maybe wanted to get Veracity later on or look at some of our other systems, you can do that for as low as $59 or $69 if you're in the US, but just because we do offer a little bit more data for the US markets with options for the daily charts. And you can initially have a buy 1 month, get 2 months for free on that. Also to touch in on that, if the $9.95 is still a little maybe out of your price range initially, you want to really give it a chance. I can do the same buy 1 month, get 2 months for free on the subscription of Veracity. So that's something you could try out too. I mean, I'm almost certain in those 3 months you could get a return on your investment, depending, on your risk levels and how much you're trading, of course. But that's an option too. If you want to try it out for a lower price, you can do the buy 1 month, get 2 months for free. If you're looking for our MetaStock real-time software and you're a brand new user, you can get at least the MetaStock real-time. That's $100 a month. And then it's $150 for the Zenith data. So you're looking at $250 a month. And you can do the same buy 1 month, get 2 months for free on that. Or for any of our existing users, you obviously wouldn't need to worry about this, but if you wanted to say upgrade to real time to try it with Veracity, because I know a lot of people like it intraday, that is an option that's available. And then with your subscription too, you guys do get a free white glove setup and installation service, free unlimited support from us, free unlimited access to recorded trainings from us here at MetaStock too. So I think that does kind of cover everything, unless there's anyone that has any other questions that I might be able to answer for you. If you wanted me to jump back into a chart to look at a specific chart or anything like that, I would be happy to do that as well. I actually do not have YouTube open, and I don't know if...
Bobby, do you want to hear some comments or questions from that side?
Yeah, happy to.
So Brett chimed in and says he's used Veracity for years, and it's a great tool. Gary Rich asks, and Brett actually asked this question, but I'll ask you for the sake of everyone, are there setups applicable for lower time frames, like 30 minutes or lower?
Yes, so those do still apply. So let's go ahead and jump in. So this is a 30-minute chart that I just opened. And when you're in these intraday time frames, the price bars can swing quite a bit. So you need to take that into consideration. But yes, you can see you still get the setup signal. And so it's going to tell you, hey, based off of this 30-minute bar, if you can find one of the next coming bars to break below the low of this and you have your slope lined up, yes, you do still get that. When you get intraday with any strategy, I mean, obviously it can get a little bit more choppy like this, but depending on what it is that you're trading, some are going to give you really good charts, or some times of the day, you're going to have good sit-ups. And the thing with this too, like I've mentioned before, is you don't want to take every single one of these trades. Really, you're only looking for a couple trades a day, and you're going to get tons of options, especially if you're looking at intraday. So just wait until everything lines up correctly. You want to look for those really good ones where you're getting, ideally, your slope lines up, you get your entry signal, and you have a breakout too. If you can combine all of those, that's where you're going to see those really big moves that really take over. This is just, a random chart I've opened up for that just to show the intraday. We can look at another one too, like here's Apple. It's going to a 30-minute time frame. And yes, so it still applies here too. You get those. You just need to make sure everything matches up, because the intraday charts, when you're day trading, things do get a little choppier, but it still works in the same way, and you can still apply all the same rules to it. And it does still, for the most part, when you get these entries, you can make profits on them. You just have to be a little bit more careful because things are quicker. But if you're day trading already, I'm sure you already know and understand that. Were there any other questions there, Greg?
Yeah, Shushant on the GoToWebinar side asks, what is the purpose of using Voracity?
Yeah, so I mean, Veracity, it helps you to take a lot of your emotion out of the game because it's going to give you, exact entries and exits on your chart that you can follow. It combines multiple different indicators and systems that have been utilized by, Vora and his trading team for years. So they're proven to be effective and work and to help make people money. And so, yeah, the purpose of Veracity is to, help you do better analysis, help save you time when you're doing your trading and things of that nature.
Michael, by way of a comment, Michael Trail says, "Hi, Bobby. Personally recommend Bobby as he is very knowledgeable, helpful, and patient. He says he has tested this many times with you, and he says you're always
Michael.
smiling and with answers."
Hey, yeah, Michael's great. We've been chatting quite a bit. Always happy to help anyone, really. I mean, I do work here at MetaStock full time, not just when I do these presentations every couple months. So if anyone ever has questions or you need help, whether it's in regards to Veracity or just your account, always happy to help, find strategies that maybe pertain to you better or, go through things in depth. I'm definitely not trying to rush anyone into anything either too. Yeah, Michael's been great. So thanks for the comment, Michael.
Any more questions do you want to take, Bobby, or?
I think that's about it. That's the 1 hour. So
Okay.
We're good to go. I guess I maybe have a slide. Okay, yeah, here's another slide that just showcases some of my contact details down here. I let you guys, for the new users, because I know they always have a lot of questions. I want them to know they have the buy one, get two free, and you can learn more about MetaStock or get that trial offer at metastock.com/Bobby Hiller. It's my name. But if you guys want to talk, we can also chat. We have a live chat room where we can follow up with questions right now. If you just came into our metastock.com/sales chat, ask to speak with Bobby if you want me specifically, and I can come in and chat with you guys. Or I am available on the phones here probably in about 10 minutes. Or you can always send me an email too. I can answer your questions in emails. I can show you guys charts of systems if you want to see how Veracity works on Forex or on a specific security or trade that you might be in right now. I can send you over a chart to look at it or get you I can even send you the manual if you wanted to have a better look at it. So all things to consider. I am here and available if you guys need anything else. But other than that, I think we should be good to go.
Well, thank you so much, Bobby. I think that was a great presentation. One last note before we sign off. If you guys don't have anything to do in about another 4 hours, Bobby and my boss will be back doing a presentation about broad market analysis and how to approach that from a new way. That's 5 o'clock Eastern, I believe. So, Bobby, thanks again. You did a great job. Thanks so much, everyone, and successful trading.
Thank you.